hello. Excuse me. There will be a brief interlude whilst I try and find you on my computer. Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong section, you daft moo. Yeah. If I had brains, I'd be dangerous. Right. Okay. I'm set up now. Good morning there, Angie. Well, I tell you what, it's been boiling hot here past couple of days, and which is bad for me because my body does not like the heat. Hi there, Helen. It makes my chest really bad. So I apologise that I wasn't here on Wednesday, but I was in my bed. Yeah. And it's cooled down a lot today, but I've just been out with the dog, so traipsing through the field at the back. So my hair's now probably full of pollen. Oh, the joys of summer and spring, yay! Hi there, Kim. Right, so tonight we are making a tag caddy. It is the first Friday of the month. And we normally make a journal, but because we made the journal over Easter, I decided that it would be wrong to do another journal tonight because there's only so many journals that you can make and complete. So I thought I'd treat us to something a little bit different. So this is my little tag caddy, and just to give you an idea, because Michelle put up, I wonder how many tags you can get in that. So I said, well, we'll test the theory when you've made yours. Do you have to check Dobby for ticks? Yeah, I have to check him for fleas, for ticks, for any weeds that he's got stuck to him. We've got what we call sticky buds out the back, which is like a real prickly kind of, it's about sort of that big, but really prickly. And it's like, do you remember, is it Stickles? Stickleback Stickles? Kids' toy, where they were made with prongs and you put them together and they stuck. So they attach themselves to the dog, and you can always tell because he starts either limping or he just stands totally still. Hi there, cats, thank you. One of those things, got to live with. Some days I have good days, some days I have bad days, but there you go. And the weather, when it's hot, doesn't help. So, as I say, hi there, Arto. It's boiling here today. As I say, it's cooler than it was yesterday. It was 27, 28 degrees yesterday, which is, hang on, 28, 48, 56, plus 30, 86. So it was anywhere between 80 and 85 degrees yesterday, which for us here in the UK is hot. Might not be hot where you're from, but it's hot for us, especially as it's only meant to be spring. But anyway, there you go. You got your cup of tea ready, good. We call them burrs here. Fun fact, they inspired Velcro. That's what they're like, they're just like Velcro. But yeah, we call them sticky buds. So, as I say, hang on, what's Angie put? I discovered how to get the older freebies from Ink and Paper, and I have some ideas for the member group. Ooh, check you out. Hello there, Pat. So, as I said to Michelle, we'll wait until you've made yours and then you can tell me how many you've fitted in. So, yesterday, because I wasn't feeling great, excuse me, I glued up all these tags from DigiKits that I'd got, and I sat and cut them out, which wore me out, so I went to bed. There's 64 tags here, admittedly not decorated, but there's 64 there. Drop in the ocean as to what will be required, because I've got all of them in there as well. So there's at least 100 and something there already, and some of them are in packaging. So this is the tag caddy. You will need a pen and paper handy. So whilst I have a slurp of tea, go and get yourself your pen and paper so that you can make some notes. Oh, because you'll need them. If you're going to have a go at making this, either that or you'll have to watch the video a few times and make your own notes from the video. But I have done a little bit of working out for you. So as you can see from my images here, I went steampunky style with this particular one. These were begins with an S. What's the name of the company I'm looking for? Because I've forgotten. Oh, blimey. Stamperia. Stamperia papers. So, I'm going to put that somewhere. Where am I going to put you? Let's put you there. I tell you, this craft room looks like a bomb's hit it. So, too many projects on the go. Alright, so you are going to need 2 tags. Now my tags measured 3 3/4 inches by 7. You can do whatever size tags you want. Alright, so I've worked out my measurements for the stuff that I've got. Alright, but I'll show you how to work it out in a minute if you want to use different sizes of things. You need 1 box, which we're going to make. Now mine is that measurement. We'll come to that in a bit. You need 1 straw or dowel. So I've got these paper straws, and that's what I made that one with, was with these particular paper straws, and they're quite strong. So you'll need a straw. 2 tassel bell ends. Now I'd got these. I am going to give you some other options when we get to this point. I've got the larger, so I'll show you the 2 sizes. So there's a small one and there is a large one. For the size of tag and box, I went for the large one. But look, sorry, the small one does fit over the end of the straw, so you could get away with using the small one if you so wish. But as I say, on that particular caddy that I made, I used the large ones. You need some decorative papers. We'll go through all of this more thoroughly as we're going along. And then you need some cardstock for your box, anywhere between, and you'll have to work this out in pounds, 160 to 210 GSM. All right? Now then, I'm going to cover that over for a minute. How I worked out what size I wanted everything to be. All right? So I needed to know what my straw length was. I also needed to know what my tag width was, and I also needed to know the height of my box. So I'll just show you up close so that you can write that or make a mental note. All right, so you want your straw length, your tag width, and the height of your box. So as you can see, the height of my box is going to be 2 inches. Now my straw length is, oh heck, helps if you have the ruler around the right way, doesn't it? So my straw length is 7 3/4 inches. So I'm just going to make a note of that. 7 3/4 inches. My tag width, which I've already stated, is 3 3/4 inches. 3 3/4 1/4 inches. All right, so those 3 measurements are important. Now I'm going to do a little drawing. This drawing, we're not cutting our card out like this. It's the way in which it helps you to work out the width of the paper that you will need to make your box. So we're going to draw a rectangle, which is going to be the base of the box. Right, and then we've got 2 ends. Oh heck, didn't do that very well, Carol. It's a good job I'm using my friction pen so I can rub it out. 2 ends. This is hard to do when it's far away from you. And 2 sides. Now, as I say, we are not cutting our card out to look like this. This is just purely so we can work it out. Now, the straw length needs to go beyond the end of the box here because it needs to protrude through the tag a little bit. So I'm going to, let me just check what I did. Yeah, so I took 1/2 inch off the measurement. So for me, I'm doing, let me just double check. Yeah, 7 1/4 inches. All right, so the measurement from there to there, for me, is 7 1/4 inches because of my straw length. The side or the height of my box, I've already stated, is going to be 2 inches. So that's 2 and that's 2. Now the width is going to be the tag width, which is 3 3/4 inches, which is from there to there. So that's 3. Did I do that? Oh, I rounded it up because it was so near. I rounded mine up to 4 inches. Okay, so I rounded that number up to 4, and then we know that the depth of the box is 2 inches. 2 and 2. All right. So now we need to add these numbers together. So we've got 2 there plus 7 1/4 plus 2, which equals 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 1/4 inches. So the width is 2 plus 4 plus 2, which equals 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 inches. All right, fine. Let me just show you that. So this now tells me what size paper I need to make my box from those 3 measurements there. Does that all make sense for everybody? As I say, we are not cutting out our paper like that. This is just purely to be able to work out how big a sheet of paper. Jan sent me some graphic 45. Oh, check you out. You lucky lady. So if you could let me know if that makes sense for everybody, because if not, I will go through it again quickly. Or maybe you're all busy scribbling. So I'll hold this up again so that you can see it again. Okay, so you need to know what your straw length is, or your doweling, your tag width, and the height of your box. So you could make your height of your box 2.5 inches, you could make it 3 inches, which then alters that figure there. But it also means it alters that figure there. So you've also got to think about what cardstock that you've got that measures this size. Okay, I'm going to assume everyone's with me. So, as you can see here, I worked it all out just the same as I did up there, and that's what I got to, 11 1/4 inches by 8. So I need to make a tag that measures 3 3/4 inches by 7, and I need to make a box from 8 inch by 11 1/4 inch wide paper. I wrote it all down in the hope it will make sense as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to be using this cardstock, this black cardstock, and it's 210 GSM. So it's quite a firm cardstock that I'm using, but it's not Amazon packaging cardstock because we need to be able to fold it. Let me just get a sheet out. And of course, one won't come out, only half a dozen. Come on, out you come. And I'll also need a sheet. Thank you. Marnie's just jumped on what a useful and lovely caddy you've designed, Carol. Thank you for sharing this and your instructions. You're very welcome. So I also need another sheet for when I come to make my tags. So, but I'm going to make my box first so that that's then off to the side drying. All right. So I need to cut this 11 1/4 inch by 8 inch. Five, 6, 7, 8. So I'm basically taking a smidgen, because remember I'm dealing with A4 paper. So it's different to your letter to paper. So that's why you need to just check the measurements to make sure that it's going to fit with the size of card that you've got. And then I want 11 1/4 inches. And again, for me, it's just a smidgen off the end. Anyway, Marnie, thank you very much for joining us. It's good to see you here. The next thing that I need to do is I need to score this. So I know that the depth of my box is 2 inches. So all I need to do is score at 2 inches on all 4 sides. So 2 inches there. Spin it. 2 inches there. Spin it. I've made these boxes with you before as well. They're dead simple. 2 inches there. Spin it, and 2 inches there. Now the proof will be in the pudding when I come and measure this. Let me just measure, just out of curiosity. And if I've got it wrong, then just ignore everything I've ever told you. So I wanted my box to be 4 inches wide there. So let's just double check. Wrong end of the ruler again, Carol. Hang on. Oh, look at that, look. I'm good, you know, I'm good. 4 inches, okay. And this part needs to be 7 1/4 inches. 7. Oh, blooming marvellous. Okay. So my straw, what did I say my straw was? Yep, 7 3/4 inches. Right, so I've got these score marks now around all 4 sides. So I'm going to fold them in and burnish. I'm only finger pressing burnishing though. And I'm making sure that my edges are lined up here, because sometimes our scoreboards don't always ring true because the paper shifts whether we like it or not. Okay, and there. Okay, so now I need my scissors. So I've got this lengthways on for my box here, and I'm going to cut into this line here, this line here, this line here, and this line here. Now what I'm going to do is, if you imagine that that's the, let me do it that way, that's the line of your score that you've made, right? This is the edge of your box here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down this side of the score line, and this side I'm going to taper in a little bit. All right, so if you imagine your score line's like blown up in size, we're doing straight down this edge and tapered down this edge. All right, so if I just show you, if I bring it up close, you might be able to see that score line. So I'm cutting it straight down this side of the score line, and I'm tapering this side of the score line down to that point down there. So that, can you see that tiny gap now? Right, so that's the bit that I just chopped off. I'm doing the same at this side. Straight edge is on this side because I want that bit of the box to be straight. So down there, and then this side I'm going to taper it. And then I'm going to spin it round, and I'm going to do these two. So where the long side of the box is, I'm going to do straight, and the little square there, I'm just tapering. So this side of the line I'm doing straight, and this side of the line I'm tapering a little. Alright, so now we've got these loose edges here. So I'm going to fold that edge in, and I'm going to put glue all over that square. Alright, so fold that in and glue on the back. Do the same with this end. Fold it in and glue on the back. And then these two are going to sit like that, and then we're going to push them in. And then we're going to lift that long bit up and push them squares onto the back. Now you need to make sure that everything's all lined up in that corner and in this corner. And those two pieces that we've just stuck down now help to make this edge, because it's so long, it's a little bit on the flimsy side, but it now helps to give that long edge a little bit of support. Okay, so now we're going to fold these two little squares in, and I'm going to put glue on those. Let me just fold that out of the way a minute. There. And this end. I love these boxes because they're so simple to make, and I've done them all sorts of different sizes over the years. Okay, so again we need to make sure that that's all nicely lined up. Come on, reposition. There we go. And again at this end, make sure that we're all nicely lined up. Just occasionally, don't know if you can see, I've just got a little bit of overhang on that edge there, so I could just go in and just go and trim that little bit off. It happens sometimes, you know, we're human. But but I do need it to be equal. There we go. So now we're all lovely jubbly done. All right, and that's the base of our box that our tags are going to sit in. Now I could cut another piece of card that's that measurement and stick it inside of there so it's got double the amount of card in there to give it the extra support. All right, I'm going to leave mine for now because I want to get onto the tag. Okay, let me just have a quick swig of tea. Now I'm going to use these two images, and I thought it was funny because, look, if at first an idea isn't absurd, there is no hope for it. I thought that applies to this blooming box. Right, so I'm using him and her. And I've already measured them, and this black edge just makes it a little bit too big, so I'm going to trim off those black edges. So let me cut her out first, and I could use my paper trimmer, but you know me, I like cutting with my scissors. Now, you could make whatever type of tag you want. It could be a tag that's already pre-printed. It could be a collage piece. It could be a tag that you've made up yourself. But I need this one to match, or to match up with the one that I've already done. Right, so that's one card cut out. And this one is going to be a little bit bigger because I can't cut the black off the top bit there. Oh, so I saw that someone just said I like that paper. Hang on, does it tell me which one it is? No. Nope. And I can't remember. But it's obviously one of the steampunky ones. So yeah, so I'm making my tag from scratch. But as I say, it could be a tag that you've already got made up. Some collage papers. You know, make whatever sort of tag you want. Okay, get rid of them. Do you know, as soon as I wrote that down on my piece of paper, I thought there is going to be someone that says something about that, and I'm not going to say it out loud. Okay, so this is another Stamperia paper, and I had a choice of this. Let's just sit them on top so that you can see this as my background, or this as my background. I was thinking this one. Now, it's not that one, Bet, so I'll have to get it out later on. Bearing in mind, I've got a set size that I want my tag to be. So I want mine 3 3/4 inches wide by 7 inches tall. So I'm going to have to do that. So I'm going to cut that bit off there because I don't want you. And I don't want you. So let's trim those two bits off. And then we've got two nice straight edges to work from. Right, so I want 3 3/4 inches wide. my lid on my glue. Yes, it is, Pat. Right, so 3 3/4 inches wide. And I'm going to have to cut 2 strips of that off. 3 3/4 inches wide. And then I want it to be 7 inches long. Oh, it's always the extendable bit. I'm thinking of getting, I was looking at them today on Amazon, I was thinking of getting a guillotine, because, I'll tell you for why. Because, now I'll cut this one and then I'll talk to you about that. These cost me like £10 for 2, thereabouts. Whereas the guillotine, I don't have to replace the blade, really. Now then, yes, that's what I was going to talk to you about. So as you can see here, I did a fancy top. All right. Now, when I measured the height of my tag, it was the 7 inches up to the top of this. So I'm all right cutting mine at 7 inches. But if you wanted to make that fancy top, there are, wrong way around, there are a couple of ways of being able to do that, and I'll come back to you in a second with that. Just cut this bit off, so I don't want those 2 bits for now, but we will keep them. I sorted these out to show you. So I got these dies. So this is a Sheena Douglas one. I was going to say Sheena Easton then. That'd be wrong, wouldn't it? And as you can see, look, it's got this fancy diddly-do top. All right. Now, I have tried cutting with these dies, and one of the things that I didn't like, and you might be able to see it on this small, oh no, you can see it on that one. Can you see? It bowed. Because this has no support whatsoever, as you're putting it through your machine, that bit bows. So it means that you're not getting the full pressure to get that bit cut out. And sometimes you only want that top bit. So you could just draw around it. Alright. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, because it did it on the next size down as well. That one bowed too, so it meant that I wasn't getting a proper cut. Come on, in you go. I also got these tags, dies. So again, I've got something that I could draw around and cut out. But as you can see, hopefully, this isn't as wide as my tag needs to be. But there's no reason why when I'm cutting down that bit, I can just do a straight cut on each edge so that it makes it the width that I want it to be. The other alternative again, if you have dies, is I've got these scalloped border dies from Spellbinder. And again, you know, so it does the fancy edges. And some of you may have some of these in your backstash. So again, I could place that at the top, get it in the middle for diddle, and draw around that, and then fussy cut it out. Right. So if you wanted that scalloped top, then that's one way in which you can do it. Now I'm just going to do a straightforward tag with the angled corners. I want you out again in a minute, so don't go too far, will you? Okay, so we've got these 2 now are going to be my tags, and this is going to sit there and there, like so. Okay. I watch a lot of British TV, so I've heard it used and thought it was something I don't want to be called. As I say, I am not discussing that. And I'm just going to ink up my edges. Oh, no, I'm not. I need to cut my angles. There's my angle card. There we go. So I've got an old plastic card with 2 different angles on. So at least now I know that they are the same size. And then I can ink it up. Right, so that's that bit done. I'll do the same with you. Twizzle you over. Do the same on that side. Now I can ink it up. This is the boring bit for you guys. Okay, this one. I'm sure that you'll be able to find one maybe on Pinterest. Look for scalloped tag shapes. And you might be able to cut that, print it off and then cut it out and use it as a template. Sorry, I'm just answering pass. Just waiting to see if you're going to show us how you made the tag, Caddy. This is what I'm doing now. We've made a start already, Judy. We're making our tags to go on the end of our Caddy. And I've showed you how to make the box already. So you may have to watch the replay if you missed that bit. Now, under normal circumstances, I would go, I'm going to add that on there, but I'm going to leave it as a pocket. But of course, I don't need to do that with this, because I don't need a pocket on the end. Okay, glue all over the back of this one. And then, as I say, I'm just going to stick it from the angled bit down from the, the middle of that bit. So I'm not doing the middle of the whole tag, I'm only doing the middle from where the angled bit is. Ooh, I'm lopsided. Ah. What the heck, Carol? A blind man would be happy to see it. Do you know, there are sometimes you can go for perfection and it don't work out, and some people get right upset about that. Me, I'm a little bit like, yeah, whatevs. I mean, I like to get it right. Don't get me wrong, I like to get it right. But if it is a little bit skewy, I'm not going to cry about it. So let me line those two up so that I can kind of line these cards up a bit. Not again that it matters, because one's going at one end of the box and one's going at t'other. But it'd be nice to get them kind of similar, wouldn't it? Now at this point, let me just reach over for something. Hang on. I'm going to add Brad's. Do you know, I don't like this getting older malarkey. Keep forgetting words. Or you could carry on watching Judy and then go back and watch the beginning bit for the box. So I'm going to add one in each corner. So I need to add those at this point. Because these brass brads fit in with the style of the paper. But I'm adding these now because I want the prongs in between the layers of card. So if I made the tag up completely and then put these on, the prongs would be showing at the back. So this way, twiddle round, thank you. This way the prongs are going to be hidden inside. Right. Now if you were adding, say, paper flowers, you can add those afterwards. But these need to go on now. And it just adds a little bit of extra dimension to the tag and looks as though you've spent, you know, a little bit of time and forethought on it. So it's the same with all these bits up here. I could sit cogs on top of there. I'm not going to in this instance. These brads are going to be enough for me. So yeah, so you could decorate it up to your heart's content. But as I say, like the flowers, I would add any cogs or any other bits afterwards, after I've made the complete tag up. I'm only adding these because of those prongs. So, do this one. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Oh, I like that saying as well. Be splendid and choose adventure. I miss being adventurous. Maybe one day. Okay, one more. So, can I have a hands up or a thumbs up? How many of you are thinking of making one of these? Okay, so I stayed on. I was just wondering about your health. I used to watch you a lot and your health was so poorly, but you sound great now. I hope everything is better. That would be lovely to think so, Judy, and it's lovely to see you again, but no, it's not. Oh, Jane, what time do you call this to come in? There's lots of health stuff has gone on, Judy. So I won't go into it now because it's just too boring. Okay. So I'm now going to back these twice. So I'm going to back them with black card. Can we move you out the way before you fall off my table? There we go. Lummy neck. Knocking everything over. I'm going to back them with the black cardstock. And I might even leave a fraction of a border because it doesn't matter if my tag is fractionally bigger than the actual box itself. And then I want another paper. And when I came to America and went to Joann's and Michael's, I got some of this, the Paper Studio. Ta-da! So I want that size. I want the same. So I'm just going to draw around this. I'm going to use this one as a template. And I'm going to cut that black cardstock fractionally bigger. So I want 2 of them. Am I doing it the right way around? Yeah. Whew. Had to think then. That hurt. Don't like this thinking malarkey. It hurts your brain. The reason why I'm doing several layers is because it makes this tag sturdier. Right, so I want 2 of those out of my other decorative paper, and they'll go on the back side. So now I'm going to stick these tags on this black card and leave a little bit of a black border. Now it's going to be a little bit of bowing for me where these brads are. And again, if I was making this for a journal, I'd be like, I wouldn't leave that for a pocket. And no. We just want to cover the whole thing with glue. Okay. And a tiny, tiny, tiny border. As I say, this bit won't stick flat here because of those brads on the back, but at least now they're all fully covered. Okay, and I can cut that one out. That black edging, I think, just finishes that off rather nicely. Need to trim that one down a little. Okay. Put your bits over there. And then do this one. Good thing you went while you were here. Joanne? I know they're all closing down, or if not closed already. There's been loads of posts of like, and now with the Temu thing as well, for those that use Temu, it's all like, oh, and of course the customs charges are going on top, so Joann's has gone, and Temu you can't get stuff from in the States. And one lady posted up on one of the groups I belong to, and she said, what are you all going to do now Temu's finished? Or now Temu costs too much to import stuff. And everyone was like, I'm going to use up my stash. I've got years worth of stash. They were all like, I've got at least 10 years worth of stash. And I thought, yeah, I know that feeling well. I've probably got enough for about 5 lifetimes. So it was use up your stash, and it was use up your junk items, you know, look at all your junk items that you can use. And then, so in Australia they call charity shops op shops, So one lady put, I'm going to start shopping at my op shop. But I suppose really she was asking for things like, you know, not what other things that people get from Temu, but the likes of your lace, and because you can get your lace cheap off Temu and stuff like that. There are other craft shops. It's just no Joann's. But you know, that's although I've spent a fortune on digital kits lately. I'm really into everyone's digital kits. But I'm not buying really anything else apart from you know, like my trimmer blades, my glue, because I have got enough, as I say, to last me about 5 lifetimes. Although on saying that, I'm also a liar. Because there's been 2 craft stores here in the UK, online craft stores, that have closed down. Some of their things were such a good bargain price. It was like, oh, I need a few of them myself. But it was stuff that I hadn't used before, so you know, it was for me to experiment with, and it was at such a good price that it was like, I can't afford not to get these. So it was like my glass mats. I got my glass mats, and I know that I'll use those. Okay. 2 layers done. Well, 3 layers done. Now I'm on to my 4th. And as I say, it might seem a little bit tedious doing this, but it helps to give those tag ends that bit of extra strength. Now this paper is quite thin. If I was using a normal scrapbook paperweight, it would definitely add a little bit extra support to the tag ends, but it's not. It's just ordinary paper. And I need to read what someone just put about Canada. Kim's put, Pat, you need to come to Canada and go to Lens Mill Outlet for fabric. Oh, that's something else I've got 10 million ton of, because I used to be a patchworker. And when I worked at John Lewis, a famous store here in the UK, when they got rid of the fabric swatch books and the wallpaper swatch books, have a guess who was first in the queue? Yes, you got it in one. It was me. So I've got loads of swatch books, leather, got loads of leather swatches as well. Right, I'm going to ink these up. And then of course I used to be an embroidery designer back in the day. So I have got all my embroidery fabrics, all my embroidery threads, and in fact I used to sell my designs in Liberties in London. If any of friends abroad have heard of Liberties, it's a very, very posh shop in London. So I used to sell my designs there. I have a distributor still in America, so we still sell some of my embroidery designs to shops. And so of course with selling abroad, I've got all these American companies go, we're going to send you all the Mill Hill seed beads and all the glass treasures, and then we're going to send you all our silk threads. And so I've got all of those in cupboards downstairs as well. I've got patchwork quilts on the go, 2 patchwork wall hangings on the go, and that they've not seen light of day for several years now. I've too many things that need finishing off, let alone, or I mean, I must have 50, 60 journals that I started and never finished, that want finishing off. I tell you what, if I ever got them all finished and sold them off, I'd make a fortune. Right, what we got? Just want to have a sip of tea. I've spent so much on trying to stock up in anticipation at work. New computer other Chinese goods. Hi from PEI. I'm not sure where that is, Lorna. Oh, PEI is on my bucket list. I got to Niagara Falls once, but not PEI. Okay, someone fill me in. What's PEI? Or where? Kim's put, Carol, I don't feel so bad about my 5 unfinished journals now. One day I might be brave enough to show you the several boxes and several drawers of all the journals that I have on the go that I need to finish off. Because with my moving house and the family incident that happened there just before then, and was it just after then anyway, and then with being ill, and then with moving house, everything just got put on the back burner. So with me only coming back to all of this year, I have something to tell you all as well. So I have been very, very, very busy this week. Is it PEI? Is the smallest province in Canada. Thank you. The home of Anne of Green Gables. Well, there you go. See, you learn something new every day. Thank you for explaining that to me. Okay, so that's going on the back. So this is now getting quite sturdy with all these layers on. So it's, you know, it's getting quite a firm piece of board now. And once that glue has dried, what's happened there? Got a little bit of a diddly-do going on. We'll trim you off. Thank you. So that's one done. Whew! So, my exciting news is, you know, I've talked about in the past, well, not so far in the past, but previously, shall we say, I talked about doing membership on my Ko-fi shop. I have been creating digitals left, right and centre for the membership. 2 tiers of membership. I haven't worked out the prices yet, but they're going to start in June. Now, I realise that my digitals are not up to several designers, you know, standards. So Income Page being one of them. I mean, they're not up to those standards, but they're good enough, and you can make some lovely projects with the digitals that I've created. So I do hope that you will consider, because it helps. Oh, I've slipped. It helps to support me a lot. And I'm not going to be charging an arm and a leg to become, you know, a member of this thing. And what I was thinking of doing was doing it for 6 months. Doing it for 6 months to see how it goes. And if it goes well over that 6 months, then I'll do something else for next year. Right. Whew. 2 tags made. And here's me books. So that will sit at one end, and that will sit at t'other. Right. But as you can see, they're bowing a little bit at the minute, and that's because of all the glue that's on there. So I'm just going to pop them underneath my board. Lift that up, put you in, and that will help to flatten them down a bit. Ooh, maybe. Okay. So. So as you can see on this one that I made, I cut out papers to go on the 2 long outside edges, and again I put the brads on. So I'm going to cut the pieces of paper, and then I'm going to put the brads on, and then I'll stick the paper to the box. All right, so that was on the outside, just 2 pieces, because we don't need to do the small ends, because obviously it's already decorated with the tag. So let me just take all of these out a minute. Where am I going to put you? Please don't fall over, and especially not on the floor. And then you can see the inside. Okay, so on the inside I did the inside edge here. Oh, I seem to have paused a little on my screen. And I did here and here and here and on the bottom, which again gives this box, makes this box sturdier. Just bear with me 1 second, because my computer screen has frozen. And I don't know whether it's because I've just chucked a load of stuff on, because otherwise I can't see what you guys are writing. And we fell into this trap before, didn't we? I know where to put you. Where can I put you? So please just bear with me a little minute whilst I just refresh my page. And of course now it's showing me an advert. Skip the advert, please. Thank you. There we go. We're back. All right. So I was thinking that I'm going to use these bits of paper because they will fit on the 2 inside ends. So that's that bit already done. And then the other bit that I've got left over, we'll do the outside edges. Let's see. Yeah, that should fit. Okay. So we know that the measurement of this box end here is 4 inches. She says, she hopes, yeah, 4 inches. So I'm going to cut this to 3 7/8. Just make it fractionally smaller. And we know that the height is 2 inches. So let's give this a go. What did I say? 3 7/8. Oh, it's actually that already. So that fits in perfectly. Excellent. So I only need to do like a 1/16 of an inch smaller than 2 inches. Let's give that a go. That one, 1/16 of an inch smaller than 2 inches. Okay. You always do things with such beautiful detail, Carol. I definitely think I want to make this. I have tags in a long, narrow box, but it is difficult to pull in and out of where I keep it. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're thinking of making one. That sounds like a lovely idea. It just means that, like, if you've got a craft room and you want to go and work in your living room, you can just lift the whole box and take it with you. And do it in a real dainty way because you're carrying the handle. Jane's put Stampers Grove, Melrose area, good for inks and mixed media supplies. Oh, no, they closed. Only online now, duh. Have a look for craft shows for dates. You're there. I don't know what you're on about. Lorna's put, I'll be going to Scotland later this year. Oh, no good asking me about what they've got up in Scotland because I don't know. Sorry. Okay, so these two are going to sit inside there. There's going to be a little bit of a black border around them. I'm not overly fussed because the tags are going to be covering them up. But it just again helps to give the box the extra bit of support. Okay, stick you in. Yeah, you tend to find that the shops are being charged so much council tax and rent these days that everyone's like, I might as well just do it online. I can work from home. I can have a little shed out the back full of all my stock, or get myself a little warehouse, little office space. On saying that, 2 of our fairly big online stores have just recently closed. Not that I'm complaining, because I've got some good stuff. Okay, and then this piece, I also want this to measure 2 inches deep, and these are going to go on the outside. Inch. This one might have a bit of this border on. Yeah, it will. Am I bothered? No. No, I is not. Okay. And the length of my box was 7 1/4 inch. So 7 1/4 inch, and a smidgy bit smaller than a 7 1/4 inch. Let's just try that one before I cut the next one. Hi there, Kasha, how you diddling, missy? Oh, I want a smidge more off that. How's the job going? We'll let you off, Kasha. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to take a smidge off that bottom edge so that I've got a tiny bit of the black edge showing at the top. You've got your paper trimmer out. I don't know why I'm cutting it by eye with my scissors. Okay. And then I've got a tiny bit of the black showing there. Liking that. Okay, let's do this. Let's cheat. There. Cheating. And I'm trimming that little bit off there. Cheating, reeting. I'm not going to bother with brads on this bit. As I say, on the other one that I did, just to show you again, I put the brads on 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they would need to go on now before I glue these in place. Now, I haven't got another sheet of this particular pattern, so I'm going to use a very, very different one. I'm not going to use that music one because it's too thin and it's not going to give the extra support that I want the thicker paper to give to the box. And you'll probably think it's a very odd choice. And it probably is. But I need to use these papers up. I mean, how long ago was it since I went to America? When I went to Joanne's? It must be 5, 6 years ago. And I have got loads, because all of these papers that I got were in the sale. So they were selling them off for like, I don't know, 15 to 30 cents each sheet. Something ridiculous anyway. Okay, so that's going to go on that part there. In fact, I think I might have cut that slightly skewy. Yeah, I did. Just going to have to re-ink that bit. Still skewy. This is why you have a paper trimmer, Carol. So it gives you a nice straight edge. Okay, let's try that. How long have I been on? An hour. And we're not far off from being done, actually. What I might do is I might leave the insides and do those off camera later, because I'm only going to be repeating what I'm doing here is going to be repeated on the inside. But I will show you the paper that I'm going to use. As I say, I might change my mind because it might, as I say, be a bit of an odd choice. But it was just a good way of using the papers up. And to be fair, the papers inside are not going to be seen very much because they'll be covered over by all the tags. Okay. I'll stick you on there. So we've got a nice little tiny black border all around that paper. I just think when you're using black, it's lovely to leave it with a little bit of a border because it just helps to make the colours of your papers shine out. Right, so those ends are quite firm now to the touch. And as I say, I would put a piece of paper in the bottom, piece of paper on each side, and you know that you can get those you know, the corner feet, the metal corner feet. You could put the metal corner feet on there as well if you wanted. Depends how fancy you want to make your box, really. What was I doing? Yes, I was going to show you this crazy paper. Not that one. Well, it's not that crazy, but you might think it's crazy in comparison to what I'm using. So I've got this paper, look, it's all buttons, but it's textured. All these buttons are embossed. Can you see all the embossed bit on the back? But I thought it was a good way of using it up, was using it on the inside, there and there. I don't know, I might change my mind and do something completely different. Okay, so that would then be box done if I decorated up the inside as well. Let's get on to decorating the straw. So obviously this colour of straw is not going to go, let's use this edge down here, is not going to, oh, I don't want that one, it's squidged. It's not going to go with the rest of my papers. So I'm going to cover it in this music paper. So I want a thin strip that is the same length as my straw. I'm just cutting this off so as it's square. or my piece of paper that's left will be reasonably square. I don't need a piece this big. So just want to do a quick measure. So I'm just going to curl that paper around the straw, and I'm just going to roll it a minute just so as I can work out how wide a piece I need. So probably to about there. Doesn't matter if it's a bit longer or wider, I should say, which is easier to see. Let's do that. So now it means that the straw, glue stuck to me, the straw will match with the rest of the pattern paper, and it also again adds some strength to the straw. So I've just glued that long end, and I'm just going to hold it onto the straw. You'll have to get your ladies making one of these, Pat. Oh, come on, stick. Why aren't you sticking? More glue required. I made one off camera before I came on. Was a doddle. Went on easy as pie. This one, because I'm on camera. No, we don't want to do that, it says. Well, you're gonna. Do you ever talk to inanimate objects when you're crafting? I seem to do that a lot. Okay. That is now stuck. And then I'm going to roll it. Okay. Keep on rolling it to curl that paper. I could spray a little bit of water on it to soften the fibres up, but I'm not going to do that because then I'll wet my straw. Make sure I've got plenty of glue on again. Got glue all over my fingers now, and then I'm going to roll it again. What was that, Kim? All the time, even when other people are in the room. I would love to. Most of them have gone back home till next autumn, but when they get back, I'm hoping they're as addicted as I am. Okay. Remember making Play-Doh sausages, and you'd have a long strip and then you keep rolling it and roll your fingers out like that. Okay, are we glued down? I think we are. Yep. If not, here's one I made earlier. Okay, now then, something you need to think about. We need to make a hole in our tag that this can go through. And so I got me big bite thingy what's it out, and I punched the biggest hole, which was that size, which is a lot smaller than my straw. Oh, that end's lifting off. So you do need to make sure that you can make a hole that is large enough to be able to take the straw. Now again, the straw is slightly fatter or wider than even that hole, but at least with this hole if I wiggle it about a bit, just going round and round and round and round and round, it stretches the fibres and it opens that hole up so that eventually, she says, cross-fingered, it will go through. Now you could even look at your metal eyelets if you wanted to, and you could insert a metal eyelet on your tag. Ta-da! See, it does work. Let me just pull this glue off my fingers because that's going to annoy me. Right, so I know that I need a hole about so big. You could put some wooden skewers in. Quick thinking there, Batman. Okay, tags are underneath here, Carol. Now my problem is going to be that I have several layers of card and paper for this eyelet punch to make a hole. So fingers crossed that I can do it. Hang on. Right, so I want it about there. You could measure if you want. Ah, you did it. Woohoo! Right, let me mark, because these need to be in the same spot. God, did that even mark it? Yeah, it did. It's there. Okay. I can see that. You probably can't. I think I can see it. If not, it's near enough. And I also need to stretch that hole. Okay, see if my straw will go through. No, not quite. It's amazing actually how strong this straw is. That's still not enough. I don't want it so wide that it's all flippy floppy. Oh, come on. It will go through eventually. I'm a little tune to yourself while I keep stretching this card. Bricked that bit now. Fortunately, it's going to be covered over. Yes! Got it in the end. Okay, let me pull you back out. Do the same with this one. If you've got maybe a circle punch this size, there we go. So that fits through as well. Brilliant. Okay. All singing and dancing. So I'm now going to put my tag on the end. I just need to, because I've got a little bit of a border, haven't I? I just want to mark that off so I know where to put my glue. Okay, there and there. Oh, it's fairly close to the edge. Okay. Concentrating. and I want the bottom of the tag flush with the bottom of the box. Got a little bit of seepage there. Okay, one down, one to go. This is where my pegs come in handy. You've all gone very quiet. Is that because you're concentrating with me? Okay. So those pegs, hold that in place for a bit. Pat said yes. There we go. So clothes pegs are ideal for holding this in place because I can get them in at that angle. I couldn't get the paper clips in quite so easily. Now, these, just whilst that glue's drying, do you mind staying there? Thank you. Sorry, it was lifting off. And you, where do you think you do? Trying to escape? Right. Now, the big ones. Was that a big one? Yeah, it was. The big one, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap. The small one just fits nicely. What I did with mine, because it was a little bit too big, was in fact, let me just show you. It's easier to show you. I just got a thin strip of paper. I wrapped it. It wasn't around a pencil, it was something smaller than this. Alright, so I wrapped it into a coil. You can't get it off the pencil. Okay. Let's do it with my tweezers. There. Right, so, oh, come on. Come on, keep curling. It's because I keep letting go of the tweezer as I'm twiddling it round. Okay, there we go. So, let it go. So I made a coil. If you can see that, I made a coil. And what I did was, I popped it inside of there and then released it. And of course it all went as it unravelled. But it obviously only unravelled to the edge of the paper. The edge of the do-ins. Let's put one in. Let's get two the same colour, preferably. put that in there. Push it down a bit. And it now means that that's now padded out somewhat, so that when I put the straw in there, it'll glue to the paper, the bell end. Okay, so clear your decks, Carol. So that wants to go in there, and that wants to go in there. Okay. Oop, too far. I'll do that. There we go. Now, if you haven't got any bell ends, there are other things that you can use. So I had got these extra large brads. They're called tassel ends, just off Amazon, really. Or if you've got hitch posts, so you know Mr. Tim's hitch posts. Where's my sample one? There. You could glue the knob part of the hitch post to the end of the straw. Right, so you could use that as your decorative piece as well. So you could glue that onto there. You can't see it very well because I'm holding it with my fingers. Hang on, let me just do it that way, and then you can see then, can't you? So you would glue that onto the end, and I would use my my glossy accents to glue that on. And I'm going to use my glossy accents to glue this on. Yeah, you could use a button. I knew that was going to happen. So before I came on air, I thought to myself, I'm going to clear that glossy accents thing out because it's always drying up and getting clogged. And I thought, I bet you £1 to a penny when I come to use it. Oh, see, it was clogged up. So that is now going to sit on there. And that paper has just padded out. I want it that way a little, come on. Straighten you up. There. Padded that out somewhat. So in fact I want another one for to the end. Right, so just going to coil this up. The other place that you could look, so Jane's saying that you could go and find them at Jewellery Findings, but you could also go to an upholsterer's. An upholstery shop, because obviously they are for tassels. So an upholstery shop might have them. But as I say, I tend to just look it up on Amazon and just think, oh, you know, saves me having to search the World Wide Web for a store. Okay, I'm just going to pull you out just a little bit there. That's a bit better, and then that will sit on there like so. Take my pegs off, push everything to one side. So all I've got to do for mine now is I just need a long strip of paper for there and for there and for the bottom, and it's done. And that's it. All done and dusted in 1 hour and 30 minutes, thereabouts-ish. As I say, I've got a little bit more to do, but you know, that is the basics of the tag caddy. So then, once that glue has dried on those tassel ends, that'll be quite sturdy. You could even, on my dirty bottom there, you could even put a piece of paper on the bottom as well. And again, it will just add that little bit of strength. But it's really, really easy. It's basically, it's a box. So again, you might already have a box that's the right size. 2 tags on the end. Piece of doweling through the tags. And that's it. Job's a good one. Really, really simple to make. So yeah, took me an hour and a half with gabbing included. Right, let me put some of these tags in. Even though it's not fully decorated yet, but it's not far off. And I think I will find another paper. I don't think that button one's going to look very nice. And because of the height of the tags that form the outside of the box, it means you can get some really quite tall tags inside of there. And as I say, there was, for those that missed the beginning, I cut all these tags yesterday. There's 64 of them there. So you can imagine how many tags you are going to be able to get within your box. So I reckon that's about probably another 25 there. So what did I say? 64, 84. Let's say 90. Let's round it up to 100. Give or take a few tags, who cares? So there's, say, 100 tags, 200 tags, 300 tags. So you could fit like 300 tags in there, thereabouts. I mean, you really need a supported bottom if you're going to put that many tags in, because it won't take the weight quite so easily. You could even put washers on this part here. Oh, sorry, I'm out of shot. You could even put washers on the back of your tag here, you know. Go and raid the toolbox, get some metal washers, put them on. Gives it great support. But yeah, I think I need a different paper for my inside base, and I'm also going to put paper on the bottom base as well. But yeah, how easy was that? So I'm going to make a series of these for all different things. Yeah, I mean, I've called it a tag caddy, but you could put journaling cards in there, you could put envelopes in there. I mean, you know, all sorts. You could put tools in it, have a bit of a tool caddy, you know. Put your tweezers in and your pencils in and your paper hole punch thingy in and a pair of scissors in, so you could have it as a little tool caddy. I mean, all sorts of different uses. Put your glue in. But as I say, you've got to remember the fact that you've got to make sure that that base is really sturdy. If you're going to start putting loads of heavy things in, put your pens and your pencils in there. All sorts of different uses. So Helen's put, I love it. Carol Jane's put, it's fabulous. Kim, I love it. Arta, I love it. Pat's put, I have to finish crocheting a baby Afghan for a shower on Sunday, and then I'm concentrating on paper crafting. Good for you. Kim's put she was going to make a series of these. Angie's put beautiful. It looks great. I love it from Lorna. Becky's put, it's beautiful, Carol, as I knew it would be. Thank you, Becky. Helen's put, ooh, nice. Okay, so what I need you guys in chat to do. I just realised I'm on top chat and not live chat. I need you to go and tell all your friends. I need you to give me the thumbs up. If you're new here and you'd like to subscribe, that would be blooming wonderful. But most of all, if you could go and put a comment underneath the video to say how much you have enjoyed it, that you've made 10 million, trillion, billion of them, and they're great. All that sort of thing helps to get my videos out there for other people to watch, which I would really appreciate right now, because there's not so many watching at the moment, and I could really do with building those numbers back up, because this is the way that I make money for me to live on. As boring as that is to hear, it is the truth. And it allows me to buy my glues, and I've lost my lid. That's what I need one for, to keep my lids in. I'm sure I'll come across it somewhere. Be underneath all of this rubbish here somewhere. But yeah, I would really, really appreciate that, because it does help me out a lot. So thank you very much for watching. I really look forward to, I'm going to put a post up tomorrow on my Facebook page for you to add pictures and images of stuff that you've been making, either from following my videos or, I've got something stuck, or that you've used one of my digital kits to make something, and obviously now you tag Caddy, so it'll be lovely to see pictures of what everyone else's looks like when they're all done and dusted, and you can tell me how long it took you to make one. I'm not including the time that it took me to go through my papers and, you know, decide what I was going to use, and just to gather all my bits together, just to physically making it. But there you go, all done, dusted and sorted. So thank you very much for joining me. It's been lovely seeing you all here, and I'm going to go and make myself a fresh cup of tea and take my poochie out for a little wander round. So have a lovely rest of your day, and goodbye, ciao, au revoir, arrivederci, and the one that I always forget is the Spanish one, which is adios amigos. I hope I got that right. See you later, everyone. Take care, and thank you. Bye. Bye.